Alright guys, so just as a continuation of what we were working on in the last video, I think it cut me off right as I finished this. So the domain is negative infinity to positive infinity, or all real numbers. And then your range is from your asymptote to, since it's going down, it's a decay, so it's from negative infinity to 3. Go ahead and turn your packet to the next page. So this is page 1. Page 1 was just to take notes based on the video that I showed you. Okay, so if you look on page 2, this is exactly what you learned in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 examples with you, and the rest is for you to finish in class. If you don't finish in class, then you need to do it for homework. It's going to be number 1 through 8. So your assignment is to complete the video notes and to complete 1 through 8. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Example 1 asks for A, B, H, and K. Well, I know that this is my A, B, X minus H, plus K. So A is 4, B is 2, H, there's no H, so it's 0. And then K, there's also no K there, so it's 0. Our growth or decay is coming from our B. In this case, B is 2 and it's greater than 1. So this is going to be a growth function. The asymptote is coming from K. In this case, K is equal to 0. So my asymptote is at Y equals to 0. The domain is always going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity. And even without graphing it, I know that my range is going to be from my asymptote. And since it's growing, pointing up, it's going to be from 0 to infinity. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph y equals to 0. That would be our asymptote. So I'm going to draw a dashed line at the line y equals to 0. And then we're going to figure out how to graph the rest. So if I have 0, 1 is always what we start off with. H in this case was 0. A was 4 and K is 0. So it says add H equals to 0 to X. So in this case this is X and this is Y. So if I add 0 to 0, I'm still left with 0, 1. If I multiply the Y value between these two ordered pairs, X and Y, by 4, I have 1 times 4, which gives me 4. I'm going to add 0 to Y. This is X and this is Y. 4 plus 0 is just 4. So I'm going to go ahead and plot 0, 4. Means I don't go to the left or right, but I do move up 4. And then my second one is 1, whatever B is. In this case, B is 2. So I'm going to add 0 to X, which leaves me with 1, 2. Multiply Y by 4. So this is X, this is Y. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 4, which gives me 8. And then I'm going to add 0 to Y. So 8 plus 0 is just 8. So I'm going to plot the point 1, 8. And this is an exponential growth function. So I should have my graph facing up. And then I should get really, really close to the line y equals to 0, but I should never reach it. So your graph should look something like this. And these are the properties. Number 2 is just like number 1. Okay, so let's go to number 3. If you want to pause it and do number 2, you can. Okay, we look at number 3. What is the value of A? In this case, A is 4, B is 1/2, H, there is no H, and then K, there is also no K. So my growth or decay is based on B. In this case, B is less than 1, so this is going to be a decay. The asymptote is dependent on our K value. In this case, K is 0, so that's my asymptote. I'm going to go ahead and draw a dashed line at y equals to 0, because that's my asymptote. Okay, the domain we already know is going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity, all real numbers, no matter what, unless we restrict the domain, but we're not going to restrict the domain so far, or not yet. Okay, our range, so this graph is going down. We know that it's going to go down towards negative infinity, possibly. Okay, so let's look at the equation. Let's look at the table. We know that the table is always going to include the points x and then b to the power of x. So let's start with 0, 1. It's telling me that I need to add h, in this case h is 0, to x. I'm going to multiply y by a, in this case a is 4, and I'm going to add k equals to 0 to y. So if I look at my exponents, I'm sorry, not my exponents, my ordered pair, 0, 1. If I add 0 to x, I have 0, 0, so that's 0, 1 still. If I multiply y times 4, I'm going to have 1 times 4, which gives you 4. And if I add 0 to y, then I have 4 plus 0, which is just 4. So I'm going to go ahead and plot the point 0, 4. And we're going to finish the bottom. Okay, so if I have 1b, what is the value of b? In this case, it is 1/2. So it says I'm going to add 0 to x. In this case, x is 1, so 0 plus 1 is just 1. So we get the same thing again. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply y by 4. In this case, y is 1/2, so 4 times 1/2. Half of 4, in other words, is 2. Okay, and then I add 0 to y. So we're going to be left with the same number. So I'm going to go over and plot it. So I'm going to go to the right one and up 2. Those are my 2 dots. I know that it is decay, so my graph is going down. It's going to get really, really close to my asymptote, but never reach it. And then it's going to go up. Something like that. This is what your graph should look like. Okay, so following the 2 examples that I gave you in this video and your notes from the front, okay, I want you to go ahead and complete number 1 through 8 for today. Thank you. I hope you guys have a nice day. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. I'm sorry, text me. Bye.